Hari Om. On behalf of everyone, I am welcoming Swami Mitranand and I'll give you a brief introduction about our Swamiji. Swami Mitranand is the advisor of the All India Chinmay Yuva Kendra, AICHIK, which is the global youth wing of Chinmay Mission. Inspired by the principles on which his master, His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda, stood rooted, he took up the study of our Sanatana Dharma at the Sandipani Sadhanalaya Ashram in Mumbai, Powai, in 1989. Swamiji has dedicated his life to the service of humanity and travels all over India and Southeast Asia, spreading this profound knowledge of Vedanta with appealing logic and clarity. Swamiji is a highly sought after speaker in the corporate circle and has delivered management related talks to various leading corporate houses and also leading business schools in India. Swamiji is also very popular amongst the youth and the elders of not just in India but also in Southeast Asia, UK, Spain, and America as a non conventional teacher, an inspiring speaker, and a modern thinker. Swamiji believes in making the youth do what they like, but the way what we want them to do. And so he has many unique ways like going for a mountain trekking or a bike rally or a quiz program or even movie workshops. He has been the brainchild of many national projects like the Awakening Indians to India, Transforming Indians to India quiz program, and also special modules of programs like Family Packed Workshop and Drop programs are designed by Swamiji. And he has also trained many householders and professionals to become spiritual trainers. Swamiji is also the mastermind behind the Breakthrough Youth Empowerment Program, thanks to which hundreds of youth have now been inspired and empowered to serve and empower millions of others. Swamiji is also the playwright and director of several successful stage shows like Death, Surya 108, India 2047, LOC, etc. So there is so much to say, but with very small time I have, I could add only a few things today. But without wasting much more time, I will now hand over to Swamiji to continue his talk. Thank you, everybody.
Namaskar, Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. My salutations to everybody. Pranam. I was reading Swami Nikhilananda's book on Swami Vivekananda biography, where Swami Nikhilananda says, on the last day of Swami Vivekananda's life on earth, he was walking up and down the corridor. And when he was walking up and down the corridor, he was talking to himself and he said, who will understand Vivekananda? It takes another Vivekananda to understand Vivekananda. So if we have to talk about Vivekananda, please understand it would be like prattling of a child. You have to be someone like him, raised up to that stature to really understand him. So whatever we discuss now, based on our evolution, it would be like prattling of a child only. So we have to understand that part of it. So we will try in our own way to grasp some of his teaching, because catching Vivekananda's thoughts are very important for us. When we get to his thoughts, our thoughts can change. After all, we are what our thoughts are. You and I today, what we are is because of our thoughts. As the thoughts, so the mind. As the mind, so the person. So you and I today are exactly what our thoughts are. If our thoughts are noble, we are a noble person. If our thoughts are impure, we are an impure person. If the thoughts are low base, we are a low base person. If our thoughts are spiritual, we are a spiritual person. So getting into Vivekananda's thoughts, some of his quotes, contemplating on it, how he thinks, how he lived, that can help us to replace our kind of a thinking. So we can start contemplating into his ideas. So when we admire his qualities, his vision, his words, his wisdom, then we would be in a position to love him. that which we admire, we would like to possess. That's how we are. All of us, whatever we admire, we would like to possess it. So admiring Vivekananda's vision, admiring Vivekananda's thoughts would help us to get to Vivekananda. Basically, the thought transformation in us will happen. So when Swami Vivekananda has said once, this is one of the quotes I want to discuss with you, the first quote rather. Struggle was my motto last 10 years. When it was all dark, I used to say struggle. When light is breaking in, I say struggle. This is what Vivekananda has said. Struggle was my motto last 10 years. See, Vivekananda lived 39 years. When he was still 29, hardly anybody knows him. Only after reaching Chicago, the world around him noticed. Basically, last 10 years of his life, he's saying. So he says, struggle was my motto last 10 years. When it is all dark, when everything is so hard and nothing is clear, I tell myself struggle. When the light is breaking in, I tell myself struggle. This struggle is important. This was one of his key words in his life. Vivekananda could never ever quit. However hard it was, he continued with struggle, and life taught him that way. He had everything in abundance, as most of you have heard about his life for last 1 month. He had everything in abundance, born with abundance, but in his lifetime, the abundance disappeared and he landed into absolute poverty. Imagine in somebody's life, living with abundance, and everything has come down to poverty in his lifetime. For those listeners who have not been to his house in Kolkata, I would recommend please do it next time when you go there. Ramakrishna Mission got his house back because after the house where Vivekananda was born, the house was sold. 60 families were living in that house. Ramakrishna Mission bought the 60 families, gave them a land somewhere else, built them a house and got this house renovated back with the old, same kind of a material with the Kolkata presidency, which had a plan. So once you see that house, you know how palatial was his house. And he lived with absolute affluence and abundance, and then reached absolute poverty. To the poverty to that extent that one of his sisters committed suicide because she felt one more mouth would be less. And we all know how Kolkata famine was and all that. So utter poverty. So this man who talks about struggle knows what it is to be in absolute abundance and what is to be in basic minimum scarcity to live with. So he says that this is what he meant, that this is struggle. When nothing was there with him, he continued to struggle. Struggle. So this line, this word we should always keep in mind. Struggle was my motto last 10 years. When it was all dark, I used to say struggle. When light is breaking in, I say struggle. Let us not give up our struggle. Let us not quit. That would be one of the most beautiful tributes to Swami Vivekananda. Not quitting. To take it up and to continue what we want to do. Let's be inspired by this quote. Struggle was his motto. And we should keep that in our life as our motto. To strive on and not to give away, not to give up. There would be times which is absolutely difficult in life. There would be times when we would breeze through. When we are breezing through, we must continue the struggle. And when we are really struggling, we must continue the struggle. This is important. Because many a times when we quit, Little early before we could see the light, we give up. Many people have failed in this. If we decide that I will struggle like Vivekananda, from abundance to poverty and from poverty he rose again, single-handedly the man traveled across India. What must have been a struggle? And it was not welcome everywhere. Wherever he went, it was hard. When he reached United States, he reached 2 months before the Parliament of Religion, since it got postponed. And the man didn't have money, but he has to stay there and struggle. Struggle. So this word is synonyms to Vivekananda's life, struggle. Not to give up, but to continue to struggle. And that way, when we continue to struggle, we will get there. So this is the first quote. Struggle was my motto last 10 years. And when it is all dark, I used to say struggle. When light is breaking in, I say struggle. Let's keep this in mind, that we should continue our struggle. There was one occasion, I'm sure many of you would have read. He was ill-treated, thinking he was a black African. And in America, there was a lot of racial difference that time, white supremacy over black. The colored skin were treated badly, and basically blacks. And unfortunately, at that time, they were called Negroes. So there was a black African who settled in America, was a porter. So he was taking his things and going, and since Vivekananda was with them carrying, like whatever they were carrying, the luggage, as Vivekananda was with them, the white people was ill-treating Vivekananda also. So they also thought he's one of them. And somebody around there told Swami Vivekananda, saying, tell them you are not a Negro. That's all he said. Just tell them you're not a Negro. Just tell them you're Indian. Don't tell them you're... So Vivekananda said, what? Rise at the expense of another. I did not come to earth for that. Please remember this line. Huh? Rise at the cost of another. Rise above, pulling somebody down. They are treating him bad, which is absolutely wrong, because having a racial mind is bad. But to say, I am not them, is rising over somebody else. So he says, what? Rise at the expense of another. I did not come to earth for that. This is again beautiful. We understand Vivekananda's mission. He came here to lift everybody together, not rise above one, pull down others. And it would have been easy. They would have treated him with respect if he had said, hey, listen, I am not one of them, I'm an Indian. But he said, no, I'm not going to do that. What? Why should I rise above others? So he says, what? Rise at the expense of another. I did not come to earth for that. My mission here is to tell everybody it's divine. And that is what I have come here for. You looking down upon somebody is wrong. That has to change. But to say, no, I don't belong to them. You can go ahead looking down at them, but not at me because I don't belong to them. He said, no, I have not come to this earth for that. So this again shows his insight, how clear he was. And most people would have done that at that point of time. That would have been the most easiest thing for anybody to do. All that they have to do is just tell them, hey, listen, I don't belong to that category what you're discriminating. I'm an Asian. No, he did not say that. He said, I have not come here to do that. We must see the world equally. So that is again another beautiful thing. Rise at the expense of another. I did not come to earth for that. Please remember, we also should not rise over somebody else, pulling them down at their expense. No, we should not do that. We should know to live, let live, and we should know to grow together. Uplift everybody together. That's why he says, I have not come into this world for that. So struggle was one. Second is in the way of life, don't pull down people. Don't pull down so that I can look tall. Rather, we all grow together. This was one of the basic Hindu thought. In Hinduism, this was a common prayer. In our prayer, we used to always say, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. We pray for the entire universe. We pray for the whole world. So in our prayer, let everybody be divine, because everyone is divine, everyone is his expression. Let everybody flourish. Let everybody be happy. This is a very, very Hindu thought. And Hindus shared this thought to the world, a universal vision. So a person like Vivekanand ji, who's got that universal vision, would never pull down somebody to show himself taller. Because everybody are children of God only. Amritasya putraha. We are the children of immortality. So he strongly believed in it. That's why he said, rise at the expense of another. I did not come to this earth for that. So this also we should not remember. Now the third one is a very powerful one, and it would have been a kind of a very, very impactful statement for the people in the West. In India, of course, many would understand because there were people talking about it. The statement, the quote here is just simple one-line quote: proclaim the God in you. What a beautiful quote. Proclaim the God in you. You and I are born divine. You and I are expression of divinity. We struggle not knowing how to bring it. That's why most of us don't live our life to our full potential. We live life superficially. Have we lived life to our full potential? One second. Sorry, there's too much noise there. We have not lived life to our full potential. So we have to check, are we living our life to our full potential? And this statement of Swami Vivekananda says, proclaim the God in you. Proclaim the infinite in you. Proclaim the divine in you. Proclaim the God within you. This is what we should know. It is there. The truth is there. That's why God is called Krishna. Krishna means dark, hidden. He is there, hidden in us. We need to bring him out. That is called self-unfoldment. Proclaim the God in you. How do we do it? That is our regular sadhana. Regular service. Vivekanand ji brought it very clearly, made it very clearly to us. How do I proclaim the divine in us? Nara Seva is Narayana Seva. Nara Seva is Narayana Seva. Serve human beings as God. You're serving God. So to understand this in a very simple way, breaking it down to little more common practice, I suggest, it's a beautiful statement, proclaim the God in you. How do I bring it down? Vivekananda said very clearly, serve mankind, serve humanity, you're serving God. Now, how do I bring this into my way of life? That I go around serving human beings, serving them as God. When we pray, whenever we pray, the prayer can be of four types: Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Praying when life is giving hard time, praying to God to get us out of our hard time, that is one kind of prayer. Second kind of a prayer, praying to God for wealth, power, position, promotion, etc. I'm struggling, help me with more money, help me with more power. This is another kind of a prayer. For Artha, Artharthi, asking God for favors, etc. Third is Jignasu, little curious to know about God. Going around, but not a seeker, but would like to keep himself well informed, widely informed about God. Third type. Fourth one is Jnani, who wants only God. Now, in our prayer, we must expand. When we say Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, Nara Seva is Narayana Seva, we should understand when we say Loka, what is that Loka? The entire world is what the Upanishad Rishis say. But we must start looking at our own Loka, the small world in which we live. Your world of name and fame, your world of family and friends, your world, your kshetra, where you are placed, that is your world. In that world, let everybody be peaceful. So how do I do? For every time when we go to God and we pray, for every selfish prayer, let there be 2 selfless prayers. Simple. For every selfish prayer, let there be 2 selfless prayers. When you go and pray for your child or for yourself or somebody very dear to you, for every selfish prayer, pray 2 selfless prayers. Who are the selfless? What kind of selfless prayer? It can be the auto rickshaw man living in the street corner. It can be a vegetable vendor who brings vegetable to you daily. It can be the watchman in your apartment. It can be your maid's child or a member of maid's family. Somebody apart from you, pray like that. For every selfish prayer, add 2 selfless prayers immediately. It makes such a great difference. It makes us change ourselves. We become definitely more expansive. Then we will start looking at every Nara as Narayana. Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. Serving humans, we serve God. This becomes naturally. This way, when we go on doing it, the God in us would start manifesting. It will start unfolding. So that is a beautiful line. Proclaim the divine in you. Proclaim the God in you. It is your right. All of us are born for it. Let's proclaim. So he says here, proclaim the God within or proclaim the God in you. Is a beautiful line. How do I do it? Every selfish prayer, 2 selfless prayers. For every selfish prayer, make sure 2. And then the heart starts melting. The heart starts becoming calm. In your world, for the people around, start praying. So this is again another lovely quote of Vivekananda. Continuing with one more quote. Vivekananda was a leader who built a team, who set things in place. Because of him, a lot of things transformed in India. Great visionaries were born who were inspired by him. Like when India was not having freedom, Subhash Chandra Bose, who played a major role in India's victory, was always in awe of Swami Vivekananda. Looked at him, got inspired by him. So we should understand, not Subhash Chandra Bose, there are thousands like that. So Vivekananda built a team, built inspired people who in turn became institutions. He himself started an institution called Ramakrishna Mission, one of the world's biggest Hindu organizations. And not only he built, but he inspired people who built institutions. So here is a beautiful quote. He says, "Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless, and I shall shake the world." Very simple, beautiful line. Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless. I shall shake the world. Please understand, as anybody, if you are a leader, the qualities which should come out from you is one must be pure, one must be selfless. Pure in the intention and selfless by living. Intention is always noble and pure, while living here, selfless. If somebody comes that way, and all that Swami Vivekananda says, give me few men and women who are pure and selfless, I will shake the world. So where does the power come from? What was Vivekananda's power? Where did he get that strength that in that short 39 years, particularly from 1991 to 1993, 1893 to 1902, 9 years, what work happened? What was his power? What was his strength? Where did he come from? How did he get the strength? Here he says, pure and selfless. If we want to do something, let's get this. Let's be pure in our intention, noble, and selfless. Noble and selfless enough. That will give us strength. That is called Atma Bala, that is called Tapas Shakti. Such people cannot be shaken by anything. Difficulties can come, adversities can come, they'll have strength to face it, they'll have this power of struggle. And they would struggle. They would handle the struggle well, they will not become weak. Strength comes from pure intention and being selfless. So let's make this also as our sadhana. These are the best tributes we can give to this great man who lived among us, who inspired us. Our tribute back to him would be able to live what he wanted us to live. So let us attempt being pure and being selfless. Pure in the sense the intention should always be noble. The intention should be always to reach out and help others. Never to exploit anybody. Never to cheat on anybody. That is one. Second, let us be selfless. We earlier discussed, for every selfish desire, two selfless desires in terms of prayer. But in terms of action, let us continue to do at least one or two selfless work every day. One or two selfless deeds every day. We just pick up something and start doing selfless work. Let this slowly become our habit. Let this become our habit. Being selfless, let it become our habit. When we are selfless, we are neither attached to it. That's why we are selfless. If there is selfish intent, we'll get attached to everything. When we get attached to everything, we will live in fear. Please understand. Wherever there is attachment, we live in fear. And when we live in fear, we don't live life to our full potential. We waste our life. The fear eats it up. And we live a life wasting, squandering our potential. So to live life well, we must be fearless. And to overcome fear, we must overcome attachment. To overcome attachment, start committing to selfless work. A selfless person, you will see that person being absolutely fearless. So how do I start? Start with 2 or 3 deeds daily. Just make it part of your prayer. That 2, 3 selfless deeds I will do daily. Go a little out of your way and help people. Because all of us are benefited by the whole world around us. Sometimes when we do something, we think it is a favor. Please remember, it is not a favor. Most of the time, it is a duty. Very rarely it is dana. Most of the time, it is dakshina we have to pay. Planting trees, for example. Is it a favor? Or is it a dakshina? Dakshina means I have benefited, I need to give back something. Giving back something is called dakshina for what I have already benefited. Dana is you go out of the way and you give. Planting trees is a duty, nitya karma for us. It is not a favor. Please understand. So it is a dakshina. So we need to keep this in mind. Go out and give our best. Little seva here and there. Maybe for the plants. Maybe if you have a talent to teach people. If you have a talent, whatever is the talent, share it. That way, the talent in you also unfolds and people also benefit. My teacher, that is Gurudev Swami Chinmay, he used to tell us, what you have is a gift given to you by the Lord. What you do with that is your gift to the Lord. What you have is a gift given to you by the Lord. What you do with that is your gift to the Lord. Now please understand, God has blessed us. Now we go little out of way and do a deed or two selfless deeds every day. Let that become our prayer. Let it be our prayer. Let's go out of the way, 1 or 2 deeds daily. Slowly this will become a habit and we will start doing. And whenever I go on doing selfless work, I am not attached to it. In a selfless work, we don't even expect anything in return. We just go and give our best. We don't ask anything in return. In a selfish world, whatever I do would be always for a return. In a selfless work, we don't expect anything in return. We just do because it is noble, therefore I'm doing. It is good, therefore I'm doing. That's all. So we should learn to do it that way, 1 or 2 deeds. Then we become that kind of a person which Swami Vivekananda was looking for. Pure and selfless. Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless. Now Vivekananda today is not there as a person. He is there as an institution. He is there as a spirit. He is there as a vision. To his vision, to that cause what he wanted, to that, let us be pure and selfless. That would be strengthening. In this process, the biggest beneficiary would be us. By giving that way, we would get the maximum benefit. We would be the biggest beneficiary. So this line is also such a beautiful one. Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless. I shall shake the world. A team has to be built this way. The leader has to be pure and selfless, and the members of the team must be encouraged, taught, mentored to be pure and selfless. Though small in number, they can shake the world. World needs such committed people. Is it not selfishness the main thing? The pain what we have today in the world? Everyone is so selfish. Me, my interest. Me, myself. That's it. Who cares for anybody else? Even parents are least bothered today. Nobody bothers about their parents. All old age dump them somewhere. Gratitude is gone. Guru Dakshina concept is gone. Rashtra Dakshina concept is gone. Prakriti Dakshina concept is gone. We need to understand this. Whatever we have benefited, imagine how many people were involved in it selflessly. I'll just give you one example to think. The food we eat. Next time when you get this, when you are about to eat food, when you take a handful of food in your hand, just look at it for a few minutes and ask yourself the journey of this food. How it reached you. What all it went through before it reached you. How many sources, known, unknown, were involved for that food to reach your table and reach your hand. It starts when the weather is fine. Set by God, weather is fine. God is involved. And when the land and weather is fine, the farmer goes and prepares the land. Then he sows the seeds, looks after it, and the soil keeps nurturing it. The sunlight in the daytime, the moon strengthens it in the night. Plants become more medicinal in the night because of the moonlight. Now the sun, the moon nurture the plant. Plus the human effort, the farmer. Now how many sources are involved? And then when he gets the crop, he saves it in a place, again another industry. From there to the wholesale market, another industry. Imagine how many are involved. Transport, logistics, all that. From wholesale market to retail sale, retail shop. From retail shop or supermarket to your house. And even in your house, how many factors were involved to make that meal just as it is, so that you and I can consume? If you start thinking, you will understand the nature was involved, God was involved, the world was involved, people around were involved, all came together. Even for a handful of meal, so many people have to come together. So when we become sensitive that I am benefited by the entire world, then it is my dakshina to serve the world, not a favor. Serving the world is a dakshina because we have benefited from that world. So we serve the world as dakshina. Service must be performed with this spirit. Sadhu Vaswani has said a beautiful statement on service. Sadhu Vaswani says, the reward of service is more service. Beautiful line, think about it. The reward of service is more service. When the Lord is pleased with your service, He will give you opportunities to serve more. What is the reward of service? More opportunities to serve will be the reward of service. Vivekananda is calling for such people, pure and selfless, who is willing to come and serve. That is their strength, that is their power, that is what can shake the world. Think, please. To serve, one must be selfless, continuously, selflessly serving. We practice detachment, we practice dropping expectation, and with that, when we go on settling, we claim the Lord within, because the selfishness goes away. What is standing between you and I? What is standing between us and God? Please think. What is that between us and God? Between you and I, we can say so many other things are there, worldly, earthly, etc. Between us and God, what is there? What is the distance between you and God? The distance between you and God would be measured individually according to the level of selfishness one is. The more selfless one becomes, the more divine pervades them. Totally selfish, divinity is at the least. Totally selfless, divinity is at the maximum. So keeping that in mind, that the world I live, I have to give dakshina, because I vow to the world. With that sense, when we serve, we are selfless. Such people, Vivekananda says, if he has few of them, he can shake the world. One of his devotees in the United States, Sister Joseph McLean, she was so grateful to Vivekananda for what Vivekananda has guided her and all that, shown her the way. She was extremely grateful. And she asked, what should I give you as Guru Dakshina? Now that I have benefited from you, what should I give you as Guru Dakshina? Vivekananda's words were, love India. That's how you should show gratitude to me. How do you show your gratitude to me? Love India. Look at the master. Look at the mentoring. She's a non-Indian, a lady born in another country, another continent, benefited, touched by him, and she's asking, what should I give you as Guru Dakshina? And Vivekananda says, love India. What must be his love for India in the first place? To tell her, love India, let that be your Guru Dakshina. Because when India is saved, Brahma Vidya is saved. When India is saved, knowledge to go back to the roots is saved. When Bharat is saved, wisdom is saved. So Vivekananda says, love India. Go there and serve. And to love, it is impossible to love without giving. It is impossible to serve, impossible to love without giving. So naturally, service must have love. And here he says, serve India. So what is Vivekananda? Vivekananda is a vision. Vivekananda is India. Vivekananda is what Bharat stands for. So today, how do I serve Bharat? How do I serve Vivekananda? I serve Bharat, I'm serving Vivekananda. And how should I serve? Pure and selfless. Then we become those people who can wake up people from their slumber, show India on top, because Bharat has to be saved, because we are the custodians of this beautiful knowledge called Brahma Vidya, which taught the whole world that the entire world is one family, universal family. We need to take this out and reach. This is Vivekananda. This is the spirit. So if there are few people, like he said, selfless and pure, we will start making change in the world. So this is again a very lovely, lovely line of Vivekananda. Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless, and I shall shake the world. Change it completely, transform it, if there are few people committed to being selfless in their work. There's another beautiful line. This is where we get a peep into Vivekananda's thinking. He is an atheist who does not believe in himself. Look at that line. How powerful is that statement? Who is an atheist? General definition of Nastik. Atheist is one who does not believe in God. Vivekananda says, if you do not believe in yourself, you are an atheist. Now let us introspect. Am I a theist or an atheist? Each one. Think. Are you a believer in God? Are you a theist or an atheist? If you don't have faith in yourself, you are an atheist. Do you believe in yourself? How much do you believe in yourself? Each one has to ask this question. This question we need to introspect. Am I believing in myself? I may want various things. That's different from what I believe in myself. Do I believe I can do this? Do I have that belief in me that I can go out and do? Do I have that faith in me that I can struggle? Think. That when things are dark, I can struggle. Do I have that faith in me? Think. Do I have that faith in me? Introspect. If we can cultivate that faith in us, nothing can stop us. That faith in us is a tribute to Vivekananda. He came here to guide us, to tell us, wake up, start believing in yourself. That's why he said, you are not lambs, you are a lion. You are not a lamb, you are not a sheep, you are a lion. Have that faith, I can. My teacher, Swami Chinmay always taught us, always said, believe in yourself, we can, we must, we will. He used to say that. And there is a very beautiful book called We Must. Almost every line, one line at least in every paragraph would be like, we must. We must do this. We must do it. Why? Because we can do it. That faith in us is important. So introspect. Do I have that faith? Am I a theist or am I an atheist? If I have the total faith in myself, that I believe in me, that I can do this, then I'm a theist. If I don't believe in myself, if I don't believe in my ability, and I believe in so many forms of God, I'm an atheist, according to Vivekananda. So this is again very, very important for us to keep in mind. How much do you believe in yourself? How much do you believe? When things are dark, how much do you believe you can continue the struggle? When everything is not going as you want, difficulties have become more, how much do you believe that you can continue? This faith we must have in ourselves. I must believe in myself that I can do this. If we want to achieve something in any field, I must believe that I can achieve it. That belief is very important. If we have that kind of a belief, self-belief, then we are theist. If we don't have that self-belief, then it is more like a atheist living. There was a meeting once with Rockefeller. Rockefeller at Vivekananda's time was like Bill Gates today, one of the richest men. And Rockefeller heard about Vivekananda. So he goes there to meet Vivekananda, and Vivekananda didn't give him much attention. So he was annoyed that such a big man has come and he just treated me as a commoner. And Rockefeller was hurt. His ego was really hurt. Like saying, I went there. I heard about this man. I went there and he treated me just like a commoner. He didn't put me on a pedestal. He didn't give me the status. He was affected, bothered, disturbed. Next day he comes and gives him a check. Some huge money. He said, yeah. Vivekananda looked at the check, took it and kept and got back to his work. This time Rockefeller asks him, sir, you can say thank you. I gave you a check. I gave you a check. I gave you some money. You can say thank you. Because he didn't say that too. So Vivekananda says to Rockefeller, you be thankful that you gave something to me, because my work is divine work. My work is work of God. So you must be grateful that you have got an opportunity to serve God. Be grateful that I have accepted your donation. Be grateful, because my work is divine work. If you are not giving, somebody else will come. Now be happy that you are part of it. What must be the self-belief? The confidence in him in another country, talking to the richest man, saying, you be grateful, I accepted your check, because my work is divine work. There is no selfishness there. My work is divine work. You are blessed to support it. Feel blessed. Rather, you should have gratitude because you got an opportunity to serve a good cause. Rather than saying, bragging, I gave that money. This is Vivekananda. So confident about himself, self-belief. This Shraddha we must have within ourselves. This faith we must have within ourselves. If we have this Shraddha, this faith, we are a theist. So coming to the summary of what we have discussed, let us have faith in ourselves. Let us serve selflessly. Pure intent, selflessly. Selfless service will give us ability to stay detached. Detachment will make us fearless. When there is selfless service and detachment leads us to fear, a fearless human being walking around would be a blessing. That way of living will help us to proclaim the divine within, proclaim the God within. We can. Naraseva is Narayana Seva. Serve. How do I serve? In every selfish prayer, to selfless prayer. To selfless prayer. Practice this. It will change within. And that would be the best tribute we can offer to Swami Vivekananda. That would be the best tribute we can offer life. We can transform ourselves. Let us do this as best as we can. May we be inspired more by the teaching of Swami Vivekananda, who was an institute by himself and who inspired individuals who became institutes in their lives. So let us also expand with his wisdom and knowledge. It was nice talking to all of you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to reflect upon Vivekananda's words. I'm grateful to Milan Tilak and to Vikas and to everybody for connecting me to do this. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaskaram. Over to Ravi. Done. Hello.